Welcome to the Fellowship of the Script, the podcast where we dive deep into the craft, struggles, and stories of filmmaking. I'm your host, Derek J. Bowder.
And I'm your other host, Ben Escobar.
Whether you're just starting out or you've been in the industry for years, this is the place for real talk about the art and business of film.
So today, Happy New Year, by the way. Today, we're going to be listing our top 10 favorite movies of 2025 since the year is officially closed. And no new movies to watch from at least my end. There were some I wish I saw, but tried to get all the best, all the last minute Christmas releases in. Saw Marty Supreme, saw No Other Choice as well recently.
Oh, I want to see that one. Did you see Anaconda?
No, not yet. I gotta see that. We were hyping that up so much too. God, I gotta watch that.
Anaconda was basically, if you liked what the trailer showed, that's exactly what it was. Like nothing more, nothing less. It's what the trailer shows, which I was happy with. Yeah, very entertaining, fun popcorn comedy.
And I recall us both really liking the trailer, so that's good news.
Yeah. It lived up to the hype for me. I think people went too hard on it,
Yeah.
In terms of the type of film it is. But anyways, we're going to be talking about our top 10 favorite films of 2025. And just to be clear, these are not the top 10 best films of 2025 in terms of filmmaking and all of that. These are the films that we want to watch again and again from this year. I guess that's the best way I would put it, right? Like,
yeah,
everything on this list we can confidently recommend because of our own personal taste. Yeah,
good taste, personal memories as well. I threw in some good ones. So yeah. Before we dive in, if you're watching or listening on Spotify, though, please make sure to follow us so you get notified every time we drop a new episode. That also helps our podcast get recommended to new people. So we would really appreciate it if you did that.
Yeah, please do.
And of course, if you didn't know, Derek is also crowdfunding for his debut feature film Around Midnight. We were talking about it last episode. But if you're just now tuning in because you see, you want to see some top 10 movies, totally fine. I have to give him a personal congratulations because that guy just raised over 50% of his fucking goal on day one, which is such a knockout. He got, I think it was the number one pre-release, like most momentum pre-release.
Most popular upcoming film on Indiegogo before we launched. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
He's been front page this whole time. It's featured. It's all fantastic. So I'm very excited about that. I donated. You should donate as well. I'm sure we'll have a link for that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and, I will definitely put a link in the bio.
Yeah. I've also read the script. It's great. And I'm really excited to be a part of it and see it get made. So
yeah, at the time of this recording, we've raised $12,855 of our $25,000 initial crowdfunding goal, which is the amount we need to raise to push the project forward and have it come out in 2027. If we don't hit this goal, I'm gonna have to figure something else out. I might have to sell my car. I might have to push off the release until 2028 because of needing to save up some money for post-production needs. So yeah, please consider checking out the page. You can donate as little as $1. You can get all kinds of perks. I'll spare you the details. There's all kinds of cool stuff over there, like early screenings to the film. Like you can literally see the film before anybody else. There's digital copies, all kinds of fun stuff. There's people coming to visit the set, just something that I can't believe. Like people are actually excited to do that. So that's really cool. But yeah, please consider checking out the Around Midnight Indiegogo campaign. And now we'll get into our top 10 favorite films of 2025. We're going to start with number 10 to 6 here. So we'll go back and forth. I think, did I make it where, okay, so Ben is going to be going first. Ben, what is your number 10?
So I want to preface this by saying, as I said, this was personal taste, the best memories I've had in the movie theater this year. And the most I took away as a filmmaker, either artistically or just emotionally. So coming in at number 10, you cannot do a top 10 list of 2025 without saying this movie, a Minecraft movie. Like, come on, man. It was such a great, fun experience. Chicken Jockey was iconic. Just the TikToks, the edits. It was just so good, man. And I just was so happy to see that. That movie is littered with love and homages across the board. Beyond just its memes, I think like it's just so satisfying to see such a gnarly fan base, such a rowdy, beloved fan base of like such a beloved IP get, worldwide attention. Almost made $1 billion. It is one of the main drivers of money, and it is one of the main successes, and everyone's happy about it. So yeah, number 10, Minecraft.
That's it's an interesting pick. I having seen Ben's list, mine is definitely the first half is very different, but my number 10, which might surprise Ben, is Lurker. That was my number 10 this year. Ben's the one who actually convinced me, like, let's go see it. I loved it. I'll see it again just so you can see it. I'm like, all right, cool, because they're not showing it where they weren't showing it in Albuquerque. So yeah, it was a fun experience because of that, but also it was a very well made film, and it was a directorial debut, and it is what I would call like probably the best psychological thriller of the year. Right? I think that's what I would. It's like a slow burn psychological thriller, very very interesting take on like a modern day obsession with fame. Right? Yeah, I think I
A
summed it
lot
up
to
pretty well.
say about the industry as well, and kind of, I don't know.
Groupie culture.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I'm glad you put that you put that one on your list. That's cool.
I thought you would be proud.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Lurker is I'm sure Ben's gonna go even deeper into it if it's on his list. If it might be, it might not. But it's it was definitely a standout film for me, and I want to watch it again. I need to. It was definitely a standout, and that's why it's my number 10.
Cool. My number 9 is Final Destination Bloodlines. I have not seen any Final Destination movie, confession, prior to this one. This was so fun and so sharp, and just exactly what you got, exactly what you came in expecting. I don't mean that as an insult, being it like a bad film by any means. It was well done. The action was very on point. Tonally, this is a very aligned movie. And I wanted to mention that, like, there is so much crap that came out this year. And I don't want to be negative, but like, my God, tone is all over the place. And like, there's a significant lack of self-awareness in a lot of the shit that came out this year. Final Destination Bloodlines, I think, stands far above a lot of the other stuff, surprisingly. It also made a ton of money. It's not about the money, though, of course. This is a fun thing. The tower crashing sequence, that whole like opening sequence, is unforgettable. And I'm very happy to see that the filmmakers, the writers, I think, or maybe the directors, whoever the hell was behind this creatively, is back for the next one. And I had a great time with friends seeing that. It was just good. So I have to mention that one.
Dude, if you have not seen any of the other ones and you liked that as much as you're saying, you definitely got to watch them. The first two are
Okay.
phenomenal. Yeah, no, it's that franchise is really interesting, and I was really impressed with how they not only breathed new life into the franchise, but also kind of did a good job subverting expectations. There was a lot of setups that if you've seen the other movies, you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen here, and then it didn't go that way. And I thought that was really impressive for a franchise that's been, kind of. I don't know how to put it. It's definitely had its peak, and then it kind of had a couple of subpar films. 3 and 4 are definitely not as popular, and then the fifth one kind of revived it a little, and then this one really like just injected new life into it. So great pick.
Thank you.
My number 9 is Black Phone 2. Have you seen Black Phone 2 yet, Ben?
Not yet. Not yet. I should. My friend Andy Holton was an editor of that. He did the Super 8 sequences. He's an incredibly talented editor. One of the best editors I've ever met. And I am very lucky to know him as a friend. And he's actually going to be helping me on my reveal trailer for my game. And it wouldn't be, it's not going to be good if he doesn't do it. So I'm very happy to watch that movie and support that movie.
Well, the Super 8 sequences are probably my favorite parts
Yeah.
of the film, so that's kinda interesting, you know? It's just I mean, this movie's got vibes, it's got really bold atmosphere, it's got some really cool sets, um, it's got 80s vibes, like, I mean, it's very Nightmare on Elm Street, but also it's not. It's kind of, I don't know, it's like paying homage to Nightmare on Elm Street while also being very Scott Derrickson. I've always been a big fan of Sinister. Loved the Black Phone 2, and when I heard they were making a sequel, I was very skeptical, but it might actually be better than the first one.
Mm.
So Black Phone 2, don't want to spoil anything, but that is a hell of a horror film. It's probably my favorite pure horror film of the year.
Okay.
Black Phone 2 is that is my number 9.
That's great. My number 8 is Marty Supreme, and this was my most anticipated movie of the year, probably. Um, I I can't say I was underwhelmed as much as I maybe felt right when I came out of the theater. I definitely made my peace with it. It was different than what I was expecting, but it has aged well. And I think this is a just really great moment in time that the fucking movie, I know I said it's not about the money, but the thing just made almost $30 million in its opening weekend, which is so cool for a Safdie brothers film to see that trajectory grow. And just the aura that this film carries, that Timothée Chalamet carries, like off the screen in the marketing and then on the screen, and the aura that everybody has. There's some incredible casting in this. This guy, I don't know his name, but he's like this homeless guy who had like a radio voice, who's known as the guy with the golden voice or something like that. And there was like a whole like news story about him like ages and ages ago, how he was like off the streets and he was like, you know, holding a sign and shit. He's casted in this movie. It's a very brief role, but he's like in if you've seen it, he's in that underground place where they're practicing ping pong. He's like the guy who's like, "Oh, Marty, where you been?" And like Marty's telling him that he's going to Japan. They're like all congratulating him. They have like an implied history. Anyway, like Josh Safdie has such a cool taste for unique, larger than life actors that just when I say, you know, when I meet a friend and I'm like, hey, you should like be an actor or something like that, I always am like, the camera loves you. Like there's just something about you have the aura. And I think Josh has an exemplary taste of that. And it very much shows in this. The guy, the fat guy too, I'm blanking on his name, and that's so fucked up that I don't know his name. Casted from a meme that went viral about like the Knicks or some sports guy. He said like, this guy looks like my dad's dick or something like that.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's a cool story because Josh Safdie saw that meme where it's just this guy saying like, his face looks like my dad's dick or something like that. Just kidding, whatever. And it's like it shows so much character. And if he tells his casting director reach out to him, and he reaches out, he does an audition, he gets the part, and he's one of the best parts in the movie. He's like, again, the camera loves him. So for that and so many reasons, you have to have that. You have to have that movie on this list. So yeah.
Nice. My number 8 is Rental Family, which is a delightful little film. I guess maybe not little, but it's I think it's a modest budget film. It's got Brendan Fraser in it. It was, you know, kind of his next big thing after The Whale. So um I don't want to spoil anything because the plot takes a lot of like little subtle twists and turns. Some of them are a little cliche, but some of them really surprised me. It takes place in I think Tokyo, and so you get a lot of the Japanese culture, which I always find really beautiful. And the character was it was one of those very subtle performances where I mean you're like that's Brendan Fraser, but there's things that surprised me about the character he was playing, and then just the way it's written is just a very classic kind of feeling plot, but great performances. Definitely a tearjerker. I think it was one of the films that had me tear up the most this year, especially being a dad. There's a subplot. Essentially, Brendan Fraser is an actor who's not really getting anything anymore. He was like big for one toothpaste commercial, and he gets this weird gig, runs into this guy, and the guy's like, "Hey, you should you got an interesting like vibe of about yourself. You should come check out this agency I have, or where we literally like we're like a rental family where you can, you know, someone can hire you to be a kid's dad for like a day a week." And so he's essentially playing dad for whatever special circumstance, and he has to literally act like he's the dad. And so, that's confusing for the kid and things like that. But I mean, there's several different people that he does this for throughout the movie, and where everything leads is just, I mean, the whole film just it's beautiful. It's a very beautiful, very mainstream feeling, but well executed, tasteful film with a great performance from Brendan Fraser. So, Rental Family definitely didn't get the attention it deserved. And it's my number 8.
You have a funny story seeing that too, because of the your theater.
I have not seen the last 10 seconds of the film or 20 seconds of the film, but I looked it up and I'm like, of course that's the ending. Like that was just made sense. Beautiful ending. I just haven't actually seen it, but I will watch it again because it was that good.
Because like the fire alarm happened in the theater or something like that. That's like the worst.
Literally, they were about to do like the final little reveal and then cut to black, and like the freaking fire alarm goes off.
Oh,
and I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's really funny. The best advice, one of the best like tidbits of advice I got from film school, my screenwriting professor said, like, your script and your movie should be so good that if the movie was just if the theater just broke down and caught fire and the movie stopped, that the audience should erupt in a riot. And it sounds like that's what happened to you.
Basically. I mean, everybody was just like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Everybody was walking up to like, should we ask for our money back? We saw like almost the whole film, like, like it was a good movie. And I'm like, yeah.
I did not see Rental Family. I wanted to see that. So I'll make note to make some time.
I thought it was a remake, but when I investigated, it's not. And I think it's a really well written script for what it is. Like it definitely feels like one of those subtle, mature dramas. I think it's PG-13, but it's a very mature PG-13 because of the Japanese culture and how like prostitution's legal there and stuff like that. So there were some interesting things in there that I didn't expect. And yeah, we don't get a lot of movies like that, especially on that budget. So
very cool. My number 7 is East of Wall. And that is a indie Sundance movie. It won the audience award in the next category, which is like the more like innovative, more like not experimental, but just more like extra indie film category at Sundance. And there's something really special about this movie. It didn't get that wide of a release, but it is sort of a blend between narrative and documentary where the characters are playing themselves and their actual names are in it, but they're performing a narrative of the actual movie. It's sort of like, I don't know. Marty Supreme's a bad example because it's Timothée Chalamet, but look, pretend it's not Timothée Chalamet and there's actually Marty Mauser out there. And he's just that good on camera. And it's like everything you see. And it's just like, what the day in the life of that would be. That's essentially what East of Wall is, except about a horse trainer, a single mom, and a very fascinating woman. I'm blanking on her name, but she's a very well-rounded character who hasn't had the best circumstances as of recent and is conflicted with selling her family ranch, and her husband has passed away and this whole thing. And the circumstances around that are murky. It's very emotional, but it's also just incredible to see that this was like, I think it was the first feature as well. I might be wrong about that, but it's just incredible to see like someone met this woman and her family and said, let's make a movie about you, but not like a documentary. Let's make a movie, like a story about you. And it's somewhat fictionalized. It really blurs the line between narrative and documentary. Fascinating. You rarely see movies like that. So yeah, I mean, that's my number 7.
Interesting. Sounds a little confusing, but I'm going to look into that one. My number 7, I had 2 like kind of back to back sappy films here that really tug at your heartstrings. This one, I don't think it made me tear up as much. Like it didn't bring on the waterworks as much as Rental Family, but it made me feel a lot. It's Eternity, which it's a shame that A24 partnered with Apple TV, and Apple TV did not put the kind of marketing budget into it like it did with F1, because F1 was a huge hit because Warner Brothers convinced them to put some money up to market it, and they did not do it with this one, and so like nobody even knew it was out. But it is got Elizabeth Olsen and Miles Teller and another guy whose name escapes me, but also a very good actor. And essentially, Miles Teller, at the beginning of the film, he's an old man and he dies. And he goes to this, like after place where they're essentially like, okay, you're going to pick your eternity where you're going to spend the rest of your life, or like the rest of your afterlife. Like, and you can only, once you pick, you got to stay there. You pick your place to like live out happy. Nothing goes, nothing's wrong for eternity. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to wait for my wife. And they're like, all right, well, you can only stay in the nice hotel room until like the week is over, and then you have to like move to the basement because we got to have room for other people. People are dying all the time. We only got so much space. And so he's like, all right, I'm going to wait for her. And she shows up. And it turns out that the bartender that he just had a conversation with has been waiting for like 50 years or something like that because he died in a war. And she was married to him before Miles Teller's character. And so now she has to decide where to spend eternity, but also, does she spend eternity with both of them? Does she spend eternity with just one of them? Which one does she love more? Which one is true love? And I mean, it goes through a lot of ups and downs. And there was a moment where I thought the film was going to end, and then there was like another 40 minutes. But once the 40 minutes was over, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, that was just like a really weird third act break. It almost felt like the film was about to end. But that final 40 minutes was like super impactful, and it definitely like made the film, like it led to something. And it was a really beautiful film, really clever production design. Once you see it, you're like, oh, that's how they did this, and like spent most of the money on the actors, but it doesn't feel like they did. The set where like they're in this kind of like limbo place where they pick their eternity is really well done. It kind of reminded me of the like Loki set where they have like the time people. It kind of reminded me of that, but different, because there's all these salesmen who are like, you should come stay in the beach eternity where it's paradise every day, and somebody's like, no, come stay in like boring suburban eternity. Like there's people like they chose to stay there, but they have a job. And so they have like a chaperone, and they have relationships with their chaperones too. Their chaperones are trying to help them choose their eternity. Like they're responsible for them until they like leave. And yeah, it's a really fun ride, really beautiful, great couples date night film. Highly recommend it for like a date night. Yeah, really, really good film. Really underappreciated. Like probably the most underappreciated film of the year in my eyes. Yeah, Eternity. Definitely worth checking it out. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I remember you said it was a great date.
Date
movies. So I'm gonna try to give that a shot.
It is long though. It is on the longer side, just so you know.
That's fine. That's fine.
2 hours.
I'm seeing a nearly 3 hour movie tomorrow. Resurrection. Be Gone, the Chinese movie that's like really artsy and stuff. But I love that director. and I got to see it. But yeah,
this was this was a debut feature, I believe. Or yeah, I think
really
so. Yeah, I think so too. I'm like, that's crazy.
Pretty good cast to get for your first feature.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of favors that director pulled, but the cast is, I mean, and they're in it for the whole film. It's not like, oh, Miles Teller's in it, and then we like, he's only in it for half or something. No, like he's in like 80% of the film, I would say.
That's cool.
They all are. They all have like those three, like they're on the posters and they are in the film, which is kind of an issue I had with One Battle After Another, which is why that's not on my top 10. Spoiler alert. I did not put that on my top 10 because my biggest complaint, and I think I've said it time and time again on this podcast, Leonardo DiCaprio's character is featured so prominently on the poster, but if you really think about it, his character does not have an effect on the plot. And that's frustrating to me from a writing standpoint. It's like it sticks out like a sore thumb.
That, yeah, that is why it's not on mine either.
But the fact that he managed to still make that role as entertaining as it was just speaks to how great of an actor Leo is, I don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
I do blame him for Killers of the Flower Moon, though. I 100%.
How so?
So originally, this is so off topic. Little side, I'll keep it short. Killers of the Flower Moon was originally supposed to follow Jesse Plemons' character, the FBI agent who comes to investigate these murders. And Leonardo DiCaprio was supposed to play that character, but Leonardo DiCaprio said, no, it should be more about this character, and I want to play that character. And so they completely rewrite the script, and like it feels like there should be some kind of like mystery aspect to it, but it's revealed very early on what's happening. So there's no mystery. There's like no driving force to that movie.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it was Leo who suggested that. So that one's his fault. Maybe maybe One Battle After Another is too. You never know, but
yeah, who knows?
Who knows, man? Anyways, Eternity was my number 7. Sorry.
Good shit. No, it's okay. So number 6 for me is the Best Screenwriting Award at Sundance. Sorry Baby from Eva Victor, her first feature, and she writes, directs, and stars in it. It is a very emotional, clearly based on a true story, reflection of a traumatic experience, sexually traumatic experience in her young adult life that she carried with her and was forced to reconcile with and grow past and pick up the pieces of her life from. This is something that was really interesting because when you make a movie or an art piece like this that's just so naked and it's in the way of just you writing, directing, and starring in it about your deepest, darkest trauma on display for the entire world, like that is brave, first of all, and also very, very difficult to do right and compellingly, because it's something that a lot of people try to do and actually fail at, and it just ends up hurting them more. In this position, this was like a really, really great, tasteful, emotionally impactful film that I think has so many great moments that demonstrate her voice as a writer-director, separate from, just a retelling of her trauma. Like, I think like this is just a great, it's just got such a self-awareness to it that it's almost like you could make the argument that she's doing it on behalf of a friend that went through this, that she just interviewed very in depth. Like she's got a very separated voice from the person that went through that in some odd way. Her directing choices in the biggest moments of the film are some of the biggest takeaways that I had. So for example, when she has to like detail the trauma, when she has to detail what exactly happened, her directing choices there and her performance there is so excellent. And it's very simply done as well. And it's very well structured. Obviously it won the Best Screenwriting Award for Sundance that year. I have nothing but good things to say about it. So that is my right in the middle. I've got some great ones right after this. It's been as soon as I hit my second half of my top 10, it gets a lot harder of a fucking choice. But
agreed.
this is good. Sorry, baby.
My number 6 is actually where it starts to get hard for me. I went with F1. I loved F1. I don't think we get enough movies like F1. I think that Brad Pitt is cool in everything he's been doing at this like middle age that he's at right now. Like he just has he has such an easy looking way of looking cool, but also like he always has values that kind of like come up without saying it, and this movie has those on display again. There's a lot of moments where I was like, that feels like he's still in Cliff Booth mode because he's about to make that movie too. Like he was like in between them, he did like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and then Babylon and then and Babylon was very similar too. He's like a movie star who's like, very much aging and not with the times anymore in terms of making the leap from silent films to talkies. And so this is an F1 driver who he's, considered an old timer. And I mean, I think a lot of people have seen this movie already. I believe it's on Apple TV. Very well shot. They invented like new camera equipment to make this one work. They like took like a sensor from an FX3 and Frankensteined it onto like a new mount and like some other. They were like remote controlling this, keeping it in focus and stuff while they're driving around at 150 miles per hour around this track during like actual races that were going. Like it's just crazy how they made this film. It's the same director who made Top Gun, and so it brings that same kind of vibe and also that same kind of classic plot. I might like Top Gun Maverick a little more, but this was just a great theater experience. Great sound design, great camera work, great soundtrack. There's so many good sound like tracks on there, and the score is Hans Zimmer, so of course that score rocks. There's just so much to love about it. It's a classic feeling popcorn film, and out of like all the films that I think are after this is probably the biggest, most mainstream one I have on my list. Actually, I think it is the biggest, most mainstream film on my list. Out of there might be one more that I'm like, okay, that one I don't want to spoil. But anyways, F1, I was really pleased with that. I think I saw it twice in theaters. Yeah, I saw it twice. And being somebody who reviews films for a living, it is difficult for me to go see something another time and like go out of my way to do that because like there's always something new to watch. And yeah, F1 was worth seeing a second time. I did not see it in IMAX though, which I do kind of regret. I think 40X would have been cool, but I saw it with my parents too, and that just made for like a really fun experience. My dad and I were sitting next to each other, and Brad Pitt was making choices, and we're just like laughing and like just having a great time watching like a film that is just a crowd pleaser. So F1. If for some reason you haven't seen F1, what are you doing? Go watch that film. It's a real good one. It's just a great time. Quick ad break before we get into our 5 through 1 picks. Subscribe to the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the YouTube, wherever you enjoy this podcast, or all three if you want to show extra support. It is free. You can also follow us on social media for updates. I've been doing a ton of updates about the Indiegogo campaign. I go by @DannyDorito23 or @Derek J. Bowder on my film-specific account where I do my movie reviews and stuff if you want to see those as soon as they're up. And on Letterboxd. Sorry. Gotta promote the Letterboxd. I got to start doing that.
We should start doing that. Yeah. I got to start being more active on there too. I go by @RealBenEscobar or @GenieBoyGames on all platforms. So
we also have a free Discord server you can join where we talk about movies. We share, whatever projects we're working on. We have giveaways. We have a lot of cool people in there that just like to, hang out, talk about movies, and support each other's things, what they're doing. Some people play video games together, I've seen. It's just a cool little community in there of people who enjoy the podcast or enjoy our content, and we'd love to have you there. Just don't cause any drama, and we'd love to have you. Um, we also have a Patreon if you want to go above and beyond and support us there. We have exclusive monthly giveaways there. We give away G Fuel tubs. By the way, use G Fuel code DannyD for 30% off at gfuel.com. I'm drinking some Dream Demon 2.0. This 2.0 formula is pretty great, right, Ben? I mean,
it is.
It's good. It's good.
I'm drinking Murder Corn, and that is so good. And so is the Miami Nights. And I finally got the notification that my Snake Eater, my fucking honeydew, what is it called?
Honeydew green tea. It's called Snake Eater.
Okay, yeah. My Snake Eater collector's edition is finally on its way. So I will be trying that and drinking out of that cup for probably the rest of my life.
It's a pretty cool shaker, dude. I gotta say. Yeah.
I love Metal Gear.
Yeah, on Patreon, we give away 2 tubs every month. So at the time of this one being uploaded, we have ours coming up. We usually do it around the middle of the month where we give away a tub in the U.S. only and then a tub internationally because, some people live outside of the U.S. and it's very expensive to get G Fuel shipped. And so I got you. You're trying to, try it before you buy it. And then on that Patreon, there's also access to producer credits, hangouts. We have a film fellowship. It's almost kind of like Indiegogo, except every month. And there's benefits. We would love to have you there. And thank you to our patrons who are still subscribed going into 2026. We literally can't do this podcast without you. So thank you. Now back to our lists. Ben, what is your number 5?
My number 5, I have an interesting relationship with this movie. Derek showed me it, insisted I saw it, and we saw it together. IMAX. I'm very happy that we saw it in IMAX, and it really stayed with me. I wouldn't have put this in my top 10 had you asked me back then, but over the months, it just really resonated with me in a way that no other movie did this year. And the way that grew and changed in my opinion of it. And just like how just it was like a 3 or 5 course meal is what that movie felt like. You felt full, complete, and just well fed and had a lot to chew on and enjoyed. And it was just everything a movie should be.
Did you say what it was yet?
No. And it is Sinners. I'll just say that. It's Sinners.
People are like, this sounds amazing. What is it?
Yeah. Sinners, man. I loved it. It was such a it was such a I don't know why I was so hesitant to admit that I loved it after seeing it. It was just because I had another friend put it that he really enjoyed it, but it was exactly the caliber of what every average movie should be. And I don't mean, and I agree with him, not in the way that it was an average movie, but in that it was such a great time at the movies. And if we had more Sinners, we would be, I think, in a much better place with the way the movie industry is going. And so this was just great.
Like an event film. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really glad that that we saw it together. It was that was
likewise, man.
I can't remember if I saw it 3 times. So
wow. Yeah. Okay.
It might be lower. It might be on my list somewhere. But my number 5, probably what I would call this should be best adapted screenplay, but it's not going to because it's just, that's how these award juries are. The Long Walk. Holy shit. What a lean, mean, emotional machine, man. This film feels like it never stops. It's got this grueling, crawling energy to it. great performances, like a lot of really big emerging actors who are just, on the verge of just being household names. Um, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son's in it. I can't remember what his name is. The guy who plays the main android in Alien Romulus is in it.
David
There's a
Johnson.
bunch. Yeah, David Johnson. He's great. They're like the two leads, but there's a bunch of great supporting characters as well. Um, if for some reason you were hesitant, it is. I mean, it's probably one of the best Stephen King adaptations I think I've ever seen, which is a pretty high bar. You know, it's about kind of like this Hunger Games style competition where people literally walk until they die, and whoever is the last one walking wins a huge cash prize. Like, it's that simple. And I love movies where you can describe the plot that quick, but then you go watch it and you're like, holy shit, I feel like I got a meal out of that. Maybe not a full, 5-course extravaganza, but like a solid 3-course meal.
Yeah.
And that's what The Long Walk is. I don't want to spoil anything. Great score. JT Molnar. I actually interacted with him on Twitter because I said that I was like, dude, the screenplay is like my favorite thing about it. And he's like, thank you, because he wrote it. And he's the guy who directed Strange Darling. So very cool guy.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool guy. And I will now watch anything that he has either written or directed. So yeah, The Long Walk, that movie kicks ass. And it is another gut punching film. And I think the ending is different than the book. And I heard a lot of people say that they thought the ending of the movie was better than the book. So that's pretty cool. You don't hear that often.
That's awesome. I gotta watch that.
Good one.
Watch that. Okay, so my final four here. This is tough because any one of these four honestly could have been number one. And I love these movies to death, and I will think about these endlessly. What I'm like when we get to these final four. I mean, Sinners, I should say, like is a timeless movie, but these to me feel timeless. So I wouldn't consider them. I did like separate them, and I'll have like reasoning why. But for number four, Presence. I love Presence from Steven Soderbergh so fucking much. When you say lean, mean machine and all that, like this was, I think, the first movie I saw at in January this time last year, and I saw it in Dolby, and the sound was so good in this, and just everything about it was so good. I love how contained this movie is. I love how every actor is on their A game. I love how simple and innovative, but simply innovative the whole damn thing is. And oh my god, man, I gotta look this guy's name up because I want to like specify it. But this guy I would kill to work with, and I really, really hope that one day I can like clip this, put it in a fucking time capsule, and say I manifested this. This guy, Wes Mulholland, the guy who plays Ryan in that movie, the scary boy that like kind of drugs the other girl.
'Cause I really like the dad that's from like Modern Family or something. I thought he was really good too.
They were all great, and Lucy Liu is
Yeah.
excellent, and her final moment is fantastic.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this guy, who is a breakout and a new Wes Mulholland, has a look like you just have never seen before. And when you say like when you talk about the camera loving people, like this guy has a 1 in a million look, and his screen presence is immaculate in that movie, and I will never forget that. And he has a very demonic presence. He has a very commanding presence, a very vulnerable presence, a very like
It's funny that you're
all
using
around thing.
presence, the word
I know,
presence so much.
I know. It's like, who was the real president? Was it what was it? Was it Wes Mulholland or was it the fucking ghost? I don't know, but yeah, for that and so many reasons, like I can't speak higher enough, and I hate that it's number four because it feels like it's like not high enough. But yes, I just love that movie, and I know you loved it too, and I
I
know it's
did
very
love it.
inspiring for Around Midnight. So.
It's very inspiring for Around Midnight. There's so much about that I found, like you said, innovative. It's actually an honorable mention for me. It's my number 11. It almost cracked my list. I kind
Okay.
of went back and forth between Lurker and Presence. Um, but I think Lurker went a little deeper on an emotional level for me, whereas Presence was just like a very well executed, simple film that was all atmosphere, man. I mean, the atmosphere in that film is just less is more, dude.
Yeah.
Presence is so good, and yeah, that I think again up there with which one was it that I said? Rental Family, like or no, Eternity. That like those two are both very underappreciated, but I've heard more people talk about Presence than Eternity. But yeah, Presence. If you like a good, very quiet but tastefully done ghost story. I mean, it's written by the same guy who wrote Jurassic Park, but then it's also
David Kep. Yep.
yeah, it's also directed, edited, and shot by Steven Soderbergh. So it's just, I mean, it's a freaking master class in like atmospheric tension and camera work.
Yeah. It was a
So
pandemic movie.
yeah, and like, I mean, shit, man. If you didn't tell me that, I wouldn't know. It feels like it was
Yeah.
intentional, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that is a great pick, and I was torn about putting it on my list as my number 10 or not, but yeah, Presence, man, that film kicks ass. My number 4 is Weapons. I've really enjoyed the narrative style and structure of Weapons. The first time I saw it, it felt like I was like on the verge of getting frustrated with the plot structure, but then once it had like the final turn, like the third act turn, it was like, oh, it's like a drip feed. You're just getting more and more information, and every time something gets to like a climax, we cut, and then we're given more information that just makes the whole thing feel like you're on a roller coaster, and you're like, my eyes are closed. Is it still going up? And then you open your eyes. Oh, it's still going up. We are going up very high, and then we're going. And it's like, holy shit, what a ride.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Weapons was very fun. I think Zach Kreger is a very promising writer director. I can't wait to see what he does with Resident Evil. I think Weapons is a very bold original film, which again we don't get a lot of those. Studios are very hesitant to take risks on those, and the budget for this was just right to where it felt like it was kind of an event film. It definitely broke into the mainstream. Um, yeah, Weapons is one of my favorite films of the year, and I mean that is a solid rated R horror thriller dark comedy. It's got like a nice blend of like dark comedy, a little bit of crime. Like it feels right up my alley.
Yeah.
Um, and I saw it twice in theaters. I saw it
Wow.
once with my wife, once with Jorge, and I think the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, now that I know everything, I don't know if knowing everything necessarily makes the film like I felt like I was kind of there was little details I picked up on, but then it was I don't know the rewatch value there. I didn't feel like it was as strong as my top three is the reason why it's number 4 if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, no, Weapons is pretty cool, and I got to do some of the marketing for that. I got to do a brand deal for that one, so that was cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
Very cool. I enjoyed seeing Weapons in the theater. It's not on my list, but I did enjoy that experience, and it felt very summer event movie. And I saw that like with within like the first day or two that it came out, and just seeing how packed that theater was, and how like I don't know if you got any billboards for it in Albuquerque, but like there was a lot of billboards for it in LA.
no, none here.
Where oh, okay. Well, there would be like cutouts of like the child doing the triangle thing, and just the way they amped up that whole like how iconic I guess it all felt in the marketing. The movie really lived up to that and felt like an event movie. Um, and I loved that feeling. We need more event movies. Um, I feel like Sinners was an event movie in a way that you found out after the fact that it was good, because the word of mouth and the retention from like weekend 1 to weekend 2 was so good. Weapons, it felt like also the retention was strong there, but like Weapons felt like everyone's got to know what this mystery is and what happened to those kids weekend 1, which as if there was like a finale on TV or like, like it was Stranger Things or something. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
And
I
I wish
really
more movies were like that.
I liked the lore that they built with it, and I liked that it wasn't a movie that held your hand and really like spoon fed you all the, you know,
Yeah.
details to make you go like, "Oh, I know what's going to happen next." It was like, I'm just going to give you just enough to think that you think you know where it's going, and then we're going to go somewhere else. And I love
Yeah.
movies like that, very twisty
Yeah.
turny. Yeah.
Yeah. My number 3 is Lurker. um, I know we talked about this one already. I initially had this at my number 1 for so long, and after like really just taking a breath and a step back and thinking about what I think is like my favorites, um, again, this is close. This is a close one. I loved this movie to death, and I have so many good things to say about it. And I think the ending is something that'll stick with me for a long time because it's just such a unique gut punch that I think makes a statement on the industry in a way that not many people are willing to make right now. And maybe I'm reading too into it, but it just felt so uh, like an attack, or a criticism on it that I think it needs right now in terms of making your way up to the top, getting into social circles, um, making a position for yourself, forcing a position for yourself in a, high profile team. Um, in addition to that, it's just good filmmaking through and through. It's just the camera work is excellent. The editing in this is razor sharp and fantastic. All the performances are great. The needle drops are great. Everything about it is just great filmmaking, and it's a great directorial debut. And it's unsettling and fun, and leaves you asking questions, and doesn't need to. It raises questions and knows that it doesn't need to finish answering all of them, and it leaves a lot up to you. It makes you feel smart, I think, too. It treats its audience very, very respectfully in a way that doesn't make us feel dumb. Great performances from like Sonny Soljic as well in a supporting role, which I thought was unexpected because you would think like he's a big actor. That guy is like, I would assume he's in the lead, but no, he was supporting and he was excellent. I don't know the lead actor's name, but he was in another movie I really loved, Je ne sais, from a director I love called named Philip Lesage. So that guy was cool. He's a Canadian actor, French Canadian actor that like turned, I guess more mainstream, but he was fantastic. Everything's great in this movie. Love it to death. Um, yeah, watch it. Like Derek said, I think it's the best thriller of the year. Is a great, great statement.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, Lurker was definitely it stuck out to me, and I wish more people knew about it. My number 3, Begonia. Yorgos Lanthimos. Probably my favorite film of his. Honestly, it's probably his most straightforward film. Also, um, which kind of interesting. It is technically a remake of a very weird film. Um, I think Japanese, either Japanese or Korean. I can't remember. But I mean, we got Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons again in a Yorgos Lanthimos film, and they kick ass. They they just they have such great chemistry, no matter what the relationship is. It feels like as characters. Um, there's also, I think he's autistic. The supporting character, like the Jesse, he plays Jesse Plemons' friend. They kidnap Emma Stone, who's like this, huge rich CEO, and there's an interesting plot there that I don't want to give away. But essentially, they kidnap her. They're holding her captive in the basement, and they think she's an alien who's like hell bent on world domination and all that stuff. And it's I thought it was just so well executed. It was a great blend of crime, sci-fi, dark comedy, and the score. The story behind it's crazy. Like I guess Lanthimos gave the composer like 2 sentences and was like, "Make the score." And he's like, "I don't. What about the movie?" He's like, "Just make the score." And so the score, it's very like classical, really like loud orchestra kind of stuff, and it just works so well for it. The score, literally, I was like, "Man, the score is so good." And there's so many moments where you're like, "Dude, this feels like some old school, like iconic, like orchestral score we're hearing." And it's just such a crazy ride. It's a crazy movie, but I thought it did such a good job not going too far with the weirdness to the point where it lost me, which Lanthimos' films tend to do that a little bit for me. This one, like I said, it's my favorite of his because it felt kind of like it was made for somebody like me. It just checked all the boxes in terms of blending genres, execution, great cinematography, of course, lots of really good um, open wide shots and stuff. Where I think most directors would probably get a little closer, use a tighter lens for those shots, and it just gives it this vibe that just feels otherworldly, but also very grounded and like low budget, even though it's not. I don't know if that you get what I'm saying. Like, it just has like this specific gritty vibe to it, and yeah, it's my number three, and I don't know. I don't know if as many people liked it as me, but I definitely felt very certain when I left. I was like, yeah, that's one of the best films of the year. That is a masterpiece, and I it's one of the few films I gave 5 stars on Letterboxd this year. So I definitely recommend Begonia.
I need to see it, man. I was trying to see it and I never got to. Um, but that's a good streaming at home movie. I feel like anyway, it's cozy. I'll probably try to watch that soon.
Cozy.
But I always love a good Yorgos movie. So that's good. Okay, my number two. Man, this is a tough one. So nobody's talking about this movie, and I think like it's not getting enough. Maybe it's me and my personal taste, but like I thought this was so fucking amazing and such an exemplary one location movie without really being a one location movie, and excellent performances, excellent screenwriting, iron tight, like perfect fucking writing, honestly, in terms of just getting out and in and hitting all your story points and having big moments and technically effective filmmaking. Warfare. Why isn't anybody talking about Warfare? I
It
saw
got
this in IMAX. Or what?
Oh, I wish I had seen it in IMAX. It got very close to breaking into the mainstream in terms of like being like a buzzy film. It felt like it got close, especially it was like the opening sequence was going around all over social media for a while.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's so fucking good,
such
that
a great
opening
opening.
sequence. And so many moments, like the show of force parts are just incredible. Like in IMAX, like that happening was just so cool. The sound design, the overall stress of this, and just the true story of it all, and the way it pays homage to the real like veterans and the people that it happened to in the end, and the quick problem solving. The This scratches the itch, I think, for any gamer that likes first person shooters like me, where if you're just shooting the shit with your buddy, you're like, man, they got to make a Battlefield movie or a Call of Duty movie. Like, this just puts all that to shame, and it's just like, just watch Warfare. That's it. Like, what more could you ask for? And slap the brand Call of Duty, and it's like that tasteful, like modern warfare kind of movie. Um, I thought like there's so much to be studied from this that I don't feel like it got enough appreciation. Like I said, the screenwriting, like it's every 30 pages, like every like point where it's like, okay, we need something to happen, it fucking knows and it does it. and it keeps you at the edge of your seat, and your mouth is just on the floor, and it hits those artsy moments and emotionally disturbing moments that it needs to hit, or not necessarily needs, that it wants to hit. It comes in wanting to be somewhat of an artsy, different movie, but also being kind of enough of a mainstream movie and enough of a technically like proficient movie. It's such an achievement. And God, I just love this movie. It's such an achievement. It was very close to being my number one, actually.
I
So yeah.
I definitely think it deserves a sound design nom. It's my it's actually an honorable mention for me. It's my number 12. So it was Lurker, Presence, and Warfare. I was kind of juggling like, oh man, these are so good. They could almost be in my top 10. I think the only reason why I didn't make my top 10 is because from a narrative standpoint, in terms of characterization, it doesn't really have any. And that's kind of the point though. But I just think that I would have
Yeah.
connected with it more if I knew a little bit more to make me go, oh shit, this guy who just got injured, like, he was just talking about like, a memory or something like that. Like, I want this guy to live,
Sure.
and it just
Yeah.
wasn't, it wasn't trying to be that though. It was a very unglorified look at what it's like to be in the middle of a combat situation. And it does not look fun, man. It definitely makes you
Yeah.
go, I respect what they got to do, because that
Yeah.
everybody looks like they're shitting their pants the whole movie. And just, I mean, there's some gut wrenching performances in there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warfare is great. Good pick.
Thank you.
My number 2, Marty Supreme. I think that this could actually end up being number 1 if I see it more, but I've only seen it one time. I think this movie has just the right amount of anxiety to it. Whereas like Uncut Gems, I think pushed some people away because it was too anxiety inducing. Like my wife she's like, good movie, but never want to watch Uncut Gems again. It just gives too much anxiety. And I felt like this one, she did not say that, but I felt it a little bit like throughout the film. I was
Wow.
like, oh no, like every decision is just like, I mean, it's got that same vibe to it. I saw a lot of people after it came out saying, I think we know which Safdie brother has the sauce. And I'm like, oh, I think they're right. It's like Benny Safdie has this weird quirkiness to his movies that just, they kind of pull you in, but then like they just don't, I don't know. It seems like I kind of felt this way with The Curse too, which he was a big part of with, what's his name?
Nathan Fielder.
Yeah, it felt like it was almost anticlimactic in a way, and that's kind of how Smashing Machine felt. But Marty Supreme just delivered on every level for me, and I thought that, like you had mentioned, Timothy Chalamet, I think he was totally playing into the character with all those buzzy headlines, like, oh, uh, Timothy Chalamet's saying, he's given his like he's got the shit and all this stuff, like what a cocky guy. But I think it was totally just him playing into the character and nothing else. Like and he does have the shit. Like I think Timmy should win the best actor award this year. I really do think he should. And I think that there was a lot of people who are like, all right, dude, let's see this performance because you're talking a lot of game here. And then I think he shut up the naysayers. And if anything, him playing into that just got people's attention more. And, the marketing for this film was genius. I think it was some of the best marketing of the year. And I think I think the biggest problem this film has is just the budget is a little too big for, I think, the level of notoriety that, the Safdie brothers have. Like, I think Smashing Machine was like 35 million or 30 million, and this was like what, 70? Like double? But of course he
Yeah.
had Timmy, so that's where that big price tag came from. But there's also a lot of really good I mean, so many like you said, I think the biggest thing I picked away from Josh Safdie walking away from this is holy shit, this guy could direct anyone and get a performance out of them. Is it Mr. Perfect? Is that what's the guy's
Mr. Wonderful, Kevin
Mr.
O'Leary.
Wonderful? I thought his I mean, yeah, he's kind of playing himself, but I thought his performance was exactly what the film needed from that character. not more, not less. And I thought that, I think he almost deserves the best supporting, but I don't think they'll give it to him because like, oh, that guy's already the Shark Tank guy or whatever. Uh, but yeah, I can't wait to see it again. As soon as it was over, I was like, "Yep, you got to watch this again," because now I get the full picture. I think it has a really bold opening sequence. I think it has a really bold closing sequence, kind of reminiscent of Honora. But I think I like the ending of Marty Supreme more because it just felt so much more straightforward while also kind of giving off a similar vibe. Um, I can't spoil it, but like exactly why a character is experiencing the emotions he is at the end of the film. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just like a mic drop film. And I unfortunately think that outside of awards buzz, they're probably going to be like, but it didn't really make that much money. So Josh Safdie doesn't deserve that big of a budget. And, it's Damien Chazelle is another director that I think kind of fell victim to that with Babylon, where he's kind of in director jail right now because it was just too much money and it didn't make enough back. But it seems like Marty Supreme is performing better than that, so I don't think he's going to end up in a situation like that. Um, because usually it's like a back to back situation like that, and I think First Man also didn't perform very well for Damien Chazelle. So I think as long as his next film maybe doesn't have as big of a budget or it gets more attention, which it would probably need another big actor, and there's not a lot of them who get that kind of notoriety anymore. Um, yeah, no, Josh Safdie is now like one of those promising directors that I just want to see what he does next. And Timothy Chalamet, I mean, he might be the best actor of this generation right now. Um, I think, that guy's like the same age as Ben and I think. Um,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
like
I think
29 or something.
27 or 29, I can't remember.
Pretty crazy.
And that guy is like on top of the world right now, and not for the wrong reasons. Not because he's just getting like, the tabloids. It's like this dude obviously is very passionate about acting, and I won't be surprised if Timmy ends up, directing something at some point because I think he's the type of actor that would make a good director. Um, yeah. Anyways, Marty Supreme. I thought that movie fucking ruled. Um, just need to see it again, and it might even become what should have been my number one. But it's a tough choice, and it's going to be really interesting to see Ben talk about his number one. So, what you got, man? Drum roll.
Alrighty. My number one, I will preface by saying this. I walked out of this movie saying that was the best movie I maybe have seen in the last 10 or 20 years, just because of how overly fun and unexpectedly fun this thing was. And we need more movies like this. Our whole world needs to be like this. The Naked Gun is my number one. I was so happy walking out of this movie, and it was just every minute counted, and it was short and sweet, and it was just like the movies are not dead yet. It was so triumphant, so funny, not in a way that was like, it just, I was laughing like, and then catching up on the next joke to laugh at that. And then you're just stacking laughs and you're just like lose control. And a comedy that has that kind of momentum on its humor, I don't know like when that has last come out. I can't laugh at a movie like I laughed at that. I mean, unless it's like nostalgic, but like first impression, it being that funny is so amazing. It's tone. I was talking about tone earlier with like a lot of movies like struggling to grasp a tone this year. This is so clearly like just the most polished, perfect movie. I think like like the last great comedy I could think of was like Project X, and that's like a lot of like shrouded by nostalgia for me. Even though I do think that's like a near like perfect comedy. This was just so good, man. I don't know what to fucking say. Everyone was so happy in the theater. My friends I went to go see it with, we were dying, and we were just doing the bits in the parking lot for the rest of the day. We're still doing bits from that movie now. It's just, that's the kind of shit that movies should be doing.
You need to make a comedy like that with that dry deadpan humor.
I wish. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Challenge accepted.
It's a great surprising pick. I think it is probably the best comedy of the year. I thought that The Naked Gun was, again, such a, like you said, a pleasure to watch. It was just such a like joy to sit down in the theater and watch something that it feels like we just don't get to experience much anymore. And also, I was like, this movie's PG-13, right? It pushes the limit with the innuendos and stuff like that. It is just like, oh man. And Liam Neeson, like, dude, what perfect casting.
Yeah.
He like, those are big shoes to fill, and I think he just mic drop, walked away. He's so good at playing serious in a situation that the whole audience is just like, this is ridiculously funny. Like, it's so like, my wife doesn't like stuff like that. I do, but I don't think a lot of people know how to balance things. And this one just, it seemed like it knew how to keep the pacing just right. Where, like you said, every time you're catching up, catching your breath from the last laugh, it's throwing another one at you and another one. And it knew exactly how to do
Yeah.
the roll of threes at the right time, where it would just escalate the joke, but never take it too far. And it wouldn't do it too often to where it felt like every joke was doing that. And then there would be like, you start a scene, there's a little joke, and then at the end of the scene, they just close on it and they just immediately cut. And you're just like, well, like, what the hell? you know?
And so much like subtle visual humor, like when he's like going for the evidence and he puts the glove on his one hand and then just uses his like non-gloved hand. It's so dumb. But like,
the fucking coffee cups just keep getting bigger the whole movie.
yes. Oh man.
The bro eats the chili dogs and then has to go to the bathroom, and he's like waiting in line. And he's like, I'm a cop. And then he immediately goes and gets another chili dog. Like, what? The snowman sequence, I think that was where I laughed so much that I was like forgetting to breathe. It was so funny. Oh my gosh. Man, yeah, that again is an honorable mention where I'm just like, dude, I don't remember the last time I laughed that much. For me, I think the last great comedy for me was This Is the End, but that's rated R.
Oh.
So like, to have something like this be PG-13 and get that kind of reaction out of me, it just goes to show how well crafted the jokes and setups were. And same director as like from like the Lonely Island crew, right? Who did like Pop Star Never Stopping or whatever it was. I haven't seen a lot of his other work, but this got me excited to see what he does next, whether it's something original or it's a sequel to The Naked Gun. I'd be totally fine with that after this, you know? Man. So we'll see what happens. I hope it was a hit on streaming.
I think it was, yeah. And Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson were so fantastic in it.
Yeah.
So good.
And they were in the marketing for like the press junkets and stuff like that. They were kind of like pretending like they were now an item, but also doing some of those like deadpan jokes. And people are just like, I can't tell if they're being serious right now or not, you know? And it was so cool.
That's so interesting. That and Marty Supreme, the marketing campaigns like led by the actors were so good because of them.
Yeah.
Like, I think Weapons was like, the actors weren't really involved in the marketing. It was more just the vibe and the mystery. But like, yeah, the Pamela Liam duo and then Timothy on his own, like those, that was so cool.
the joke scene where there's like the interrogation, but the guy's in the bed, and then it just keeps becoming like a bigger and a bigger, like, oh, you're under arrest by
Oh
so and so
yes.
for and the guy's just sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Like, like in like a virtual reality by the end of it, it's like,
Yes,
dude.
dude, it was so good. They keep like
Yeah.
getting, oh my god.
Like OSHA's showing up or something by the end. Like, it's ridiculous.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
great pick, man. Great pick.
Thank you.
And totally, like, when I saw that as your number one, I was like, huh, that makes sense. Of course, that's Ben's number one.
Yeah.
So
It just made me so happy.
good shit.
Made me so happy.
My number one, probably not a surprise after hearing this whole episode, Sinners. Again, I saw it 3 times, and every time I saw it, the first time I saw it, and I said, I think this is a masterpiece. And then I saw it again, and I said, you know what? I think this time I picked up a lot of stuff, and it gave me more questions, and I can't tell if there's a plot hole here. You know what? I'm gonna go see that again. And then I paid attention to those specific areas where I thought there was plot holes, and they weren't. And so I said I can no longer find any holes to poke in this film. I think the only gripe I had was there was one sequence where the dialogue was a little inaudible, kind of like a Christopher Nolan type situation.
Mm.
But you can watch it with subtitles now and problem solved. You know exactly what that guy said. I think the score should win best score this year. I think the score for this film, it's one of those films which myself as a filmmaker, I find this being one of the biggest, I would say one of the most important things to me next to the writing, um, the actors you pick, and the camera you shoot on, the cinematographer you use, all of that. The score. I think the score is such an important pillar. I would say it's like 10-15% of the film on its own, and usually it's one person who's like in charge of bringing something to you that's elevating your vision, but also not distracting in a way where people are like, yeah, the score was great. I can't remember what, like this, like it doesn't, it's just, it's blended so well. It elevates the film in a way that I think impacted me emotionally that no other film did this year. And it got me listening to the score, which anytime that happens, like that happened with The Long Walk, that happened with Sinners. And I think Black Phone 2, those are the only films that happened this year. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, that's it. I mean, Superman had like a good soundtrack to it, and I'll talk about Superman in my honorable mentions real quick. But yeah, no, Sinners to me was the film of the year. Um, I think it. I hope it gets the recognition it deserves because I thought cinematography was fantastic. I thought the direction was great. Maybe that's like the biggest competition is like that and One Battle After Another for Best Picture. What do you think? I think those are the two that are going to battle it out for it.
Yeah, I do think Marty. Well, actually, no. So the National Board of Review or something just gave the best film to One Battle After Another today. I think like that's probably going to win the Oscar. If I'm being honest,
I
do I
hope
agree
not,
with
man.
that? I don't agree. I think Marty Supreme would be interesting because it's got like it makes for an interesting double feature with Anora. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know which I would put first.
I think Marty Supreme should win Best like Director. I think that's what that deserves.
Sure,
I
yeah.
think I know this is not going to happen, but I think Zach Kreger, like either him or like I said, JT Molnar, I think had the best adapted screenplay, but I think Weapons is probably the best like original screenplay. Sinners has some kind of Frankenstein ideas in there where it's pulling from like from Dusk Till Dawn and some like other things, but I thought that film had such a interesting vibe to all the sequences with the Irish vampires. Every time that happened, you just felt so off. Like, dude, this is uncanny. If I was in the scene right now as this character, I'd be running far away as fast as I can. But they're under this like spell charm kind of thing that's going on almost. And it also pulls you in as an audience. There's that scene where one of the twins like, or somebody looks out and they see them doing that circle dance with the chant and like the music that they're singing, you're like pulled into that a little bit. You're like, kind of like this folk music. It's just they're all like under this spell and just um very cool portrayal of vampires, but also like the very classic idea of vampires.
Yeah.
Um I thought the performances were phenomenal. I thought the pacing was great. I thought that um like you said, felt like a full meal. And it's a film where like my mother-in-law was watching it and I sat down and watched a little bit of it. And then I was like, "Oh, I gotta go work," but this movie's so fucking good, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it was fun seeing it with you in IMAX.
Yeah, man.
Um, yeah, it's, that is my number 1, Sinners. And
If of
I was just gonna say that I kept throughout the year going, maybe something will pop up. Maybe Marty Supreme will be, like, right away the one that takes number 1, but I kept going back to Sinners, man.
Yeah, I could see that. I think of the ones that'll be nominated for Best Picture, I think it'll for sure be nominated for Best Picture. I would vote for that. Do I think it'll win? No. I think the system's rigged. Not rigged. I think just life is unfair. And the obvious is going to win, which is unfortunately one battle after another.
It's such a well-rounded film. I
Yeah.
think it's the most well-rounded film of the year.
Yeah. I agree. I fully agree. And I would probably give Best Actor to Michael B. Jordan as well. I mean, the guy's playing two
Yeah,
fucking roles.
I think he deserves a nom. Yeah.
Yeah.
They felt they felt distinct enough. I remember the first time I saw it, they were cutting back between 2 separate conversations between the 2 of them, and I was a little confused, and the second time I saw it, I picked up on the distinct details and choices that they had made for those characters, and I didn't feel the same way. It was just a film that every time I watched it, I felt like it was improving. My experience was improving, which that rarely happens, you know, where you keep watching a movie and getting a better and better experience and appreciating it more and more. So, yeah. I honestly think this was a pretty solid year for movies, man. Like you said, there was some stinkers, but there was also some really great auteur director outings here. And next year's going to be like even bigger. We got Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan and what else? There's a bunch. We got freaking Dude Messiah coming out, and yeah, there's a lot next year. So
I'm excited for that one.
yeah. Do you wanna talk about your honorable mentions? We can kind of fly through them.
Yeah, I don't have much, I'm gonna be honest. Materialists, I thought I might say it was fine.
I think if you
I didn't
saw
like
Eternity,
love it, but like
I think if you saw Eternity,
that would have been
that
yeah.
would be you'd be like, that's the better like because they kind of presented Materialists as this kind of couples movie, and it's kind of an anti-couples movie.
Eternity?
No, Materialists.
Materialists. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I hated the ending, I remember.
Of
And I didn't
Materialists?
agree with of where it ended and I didn't agree with where it went.
I don't even remember the
Um
ending.
just
We
the
don't spoil it.
ridiculous
Don't
like
spoil it.
oh, okay.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
spoil the ending for a movie that came out recently, but um yeah, I don't really remember the ending from that one if I'm being honest. Like
Yeah,
the
it
ending
was
of Eternity very like stuck out to me big time. Eternity gave me like
oh cool.
Eternity gave me some Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind vibes towards the end.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
which
Good to know.
I haven't seen anything else that's come close to giving that kind of feeling where you're like almost like running through memories and things are all kind of trippy and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that, but not too extreme. Not as extreme, but yeah. Yeah, I would love to hear what you think of Eternity.
Yeah, man, I'll give it a shot. I'm gonna write down here the ones I want to watch. So Eternity will be one of them. I wish I saw Rental Family. I wish I saw Begonia. There's 2 Richard Linklater films. I miss both, and that guy's like my favorite director, so I'm fucked up for that one. Blue Moon and Nouvelle Vague. I don't know how to say those. I don't know how to say Nouvelle Vague. I don't think that's how you say it, but it's a French movie. It's a remake of the movie Breathless, which is like a famous movie from this famous director and all that. And then if I had legs, I'd kick you. I heard is a lot of my friends' favorite movie of the year.
Have you seen
Uh,
Sentimental Value?
no, I wanted to see that one
That
too.
is on a lot of people's like top fives.
Yeah,
So I need to see
that
that
is a
one.
good one. Sentimental Value. I was not crazy about his other movie, The Worst Person in the World, so I wasn't necessarily running to go see it. But that said, I'd give him another chance. I'd watch a good, if this one is as good as people say. So yeah, there's a lot of majors I'm kind of behind on. Hamnet, I know like people like love the fuck out of Hamnet for some reason. Will I watch that? Sure, maybe. I like Chloe Zhao. I didn't mind Nomadland. I actually kind of liked it more
Pressing
than
film.
most people. A Hamnet is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. That's why I was not necessarily. I heard the same about Sentimental Value, that it's pretty fucking emotional, and so it's just like okay.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
I'm not gonna break my leg running to that. I don't know. For me this year, I liked happy movies. I liked things that made me happy and excited, and that's why The Naked Gun is number one. Um, but yeah, I don't have much honorable mentions. I saw a lot of movies for the first time this year that had not come out this year. The Matrix I saw for the first time this year, which is ridiculous. But I watched that in what's it called? Um, Cosm, which we got to do next time you're in
Yeah,
town.
yeah. For
The
sure.
LA's version of the Sphere. But
Have you
anyway,
done 40X yet?
no, I want to do that though. We
We've
should do
got one
that.
of those here.
Yeah, dude, that would be. We should pick a good movie to see that for.
Yeah, unfortunately, it comes down to timing with that always. Dude, I felt so bad. I went and saw. They invited us out for the grand opening of the 40X here, and they did Jurassic World Rebirth, and they actually like did it last minute, where they like moved a screening and brought up a bunch of people there. And there was right as Theo and I were waiting to go into the movie, this guy and his teenage son walk up, and they were there to see How to Train Your Dragon in 40X, and they tell him, "Oh yeah, the screening is actually we had to move that because we're doing this event thing for 40X, this grand opening
Oh,
thing." And he's like, "We drove all the way from Phoenix, Arizona." And he's like, "Are you kidding me?" And the teenagers just all disappointed, and they're like, "Go to the box office. We'll refund your tickets and this and that." And I felt so bad, but I'm like, that's not my fault. They're the ones that screwed up. They shouldn't have done that, you know.
damn. Yeah.
But anyways, as a side story, this episode's getting long. Um, my honorable mentions besides Presence, Warfare, I'm gonna go in order. So Presence was number 11, Warfare was number 12. Then I got Superman. That to me is like my Superman movie. There's been a couple of iterations of Superman now, and that one felt like a pure comic book movie. Best comic book movie of the year. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning was definitely a great crowd pleaser popcorn film, but well, I think there was some behind the scenes studio plans changing that kind of led to that being a little Frankensteiny in terms of execution and how they kind of catch the audience up. And I remember my mother in law was watching it, and she was saying this movie like it feels like it's been an hour and it's only been a half hour because they're just cramming so much in to that first half hour. Um, so yeah, that is something that I agree with. I just have some issues in the first act, but still, just such a great send off for that because I don't think they're making any more of that. The last two bombed. Eddington, another film that's kind of all over the
Mm.
place, but I love westerns, and it was shot here. I auditioned for that film, so it was cool to see like that actually. I don't feel bad anymore because the part that I auditioned for got cut. So whoever got it, I didn't see who it was, but um, it uh it was just such a interesting mashup of crime, commentary, social commentary on the pandemic, the state of like police violence and stuff like that. Um, Great Western, just definitely not for everybody, and it has some of that like anxiety inducing vibe because it is Ari Aster. So bring her back. I didn't think it was as good as Talk to Me, but it was just as bold and very fucked up and unnerving, and just such an icky movie that I think it's a little off-putting. And I think Talk to Me had more vibes to it that made me want to revisit that one, but it was also very good. Together, it paid homage to The Thing a lot, which I really enjoyed, and I thought it had some really interesting blending of practical effect and visual effect body horror. It does get a little goofy at times just because of the tone and stuff. It is got some dark comedy in there that I think again, maybe not for everybody. There's also, like a bunch of drama going on with some like possible plagiarism and stuff like that that I don't know if ever got resolved yet. So that was kind of like I like this movie, but people are telling me I shouldn't, which maybe impacted how I felt about it. Caught Stealing, that was a very fucked up movie, but a really good crime film, very twist and turny. Austin Butler is a great human being. I have met him, and so I'll watch and support anything he does. And I thought he was great in that. But yeah, I mean, what's the director's name who did like Requiem for a Dream and
Darren Aronofsky?
Yeah, he has a way of like pushing the like the dark, messed up uncomfortableness of his movies just far enough to where you're like, man, that was good, but I don't know if I'm gonna watch it again anytime soon. You know,
Yeah,
The Running
that's
Man.
funny.
I thought that was very underappreciated. I don't understand why people turned on that. I think it is exactly the kind of blockbuster movie that people complain like, "Oh, there's nothing good to go see. Like, I want to go see a good popcorn movie." And then like nobody saw it, and I feel like everybody who hated on it because it didn't feel like a traditional Edgar Wright film. But I thought it had his quirkiness, just maybe not as layered on as you're used to because it was a studio film. It was like a big budget, hey, we're hiring you to direct this film, so we're not going to let you take the reins and just go wherever you want with it. It had like a mold it needed to fill, and I think it is a little too long. But in terms of being a reimagining of both, the original one with Schwarzenegger and the book, because it's an adaptation of a book. I thought that it stood on its own and it felt like it built its world very well. And I thought it was, especially the second act, had me on the edge of my seat. So that one, criminally underappreciated. Um, 28 years later is my final honorable mention. So that's 20 films that I've listed here. My top 10 and my 10 honorable mentions. 20 years later, kind of jarring from a sequel standpoint. It doesn't feel like a direct follow up to 28 Days Later. It's kind of like ignoring 28 Weeks Later and also telling a coming of age story, which is not really what you would expect from this movie. But I thought it did the same kind of, it portrayed death of like a loved one or, a companion in a live action way that movie Flow did. Did you see Flow?
No, but I know
Dude,
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
there's the best scene in Flow is where this like crane bird that the cat is kind of like running around with through this like, flooded world. And then the crane dies and you see it move on to the afterlife. And it is I was like, yeah, after I watched that, I knew exactly why that, got the awards it did and the recognition it did. It was just heartbreakingly beautiful. And 28 years later, almost reaches that same height, but in a live action sense. It's almost like these two directors had a very similar idea, but they came out way too close together for them to be copying each other. Um,
Mhm.
but the score was great. The cinematography was very edgy with its iPhone style. I could go on about 28 years later and how disappointed I was that people kind of shit on it the same way that they shit on Black Ops. Like Black Ops had this little section of the game, the campaign, that was bad, and the ending they said was bad because it was very jarring and kind of felt like it should have been like a post credit scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, 28 years later was another emotional film that maybe didn't stick with me as much as the other films, but I definitely think about it from time to time. And we got a sequel coming out this month, The Bone Temple, that continues
That's right.
Ralph Fiennes' character's storyline, and he was honestly one of the standouts of that film. So I'm very excited to see where that film goes. Different director, but same camera style and you know, obviously same storyline, kind of continuing it. It's like I guess a bridge film to whatever this third one's going to be that brings back Cillian Murphy. So yeah, the lot of really solid films this year. Definitely was a hard list to put together. Would love to hear what everybody else's top 10 list is in the comments. And yeah, this was a fun video to do. First video of 2026. Ben, what's one interesting thing that's happened since the last episode?
I finished my screenplay for my game. I'm so happy about that. That was my goal to finish that before the end of the year.
Very nice.
Thank you, man. I closed out at 82 pages, more than what I thought. So it's basically like my feature, one of the features I wrote last year. The other one was one we wrote together. But yeah, I am very excited about the next steps for that. We are going to be storyboarding for a trailer this week, and then hopefully editing the trailer next month. And yeah, I'm just really happy with the experience, and the writing process for the game was unique because I didn't have the ending in mind, and I kind of improv'd the ending as I was writing it, and the final scene like really shaped up to be something that I really love, and hopefully will be executed well and be emotional and all that. So yeah.
I saw Stranger Things, the series finale on the big screen with my son and my wife, and it was a great experience. It was really cool to experience the end of a show that I didn't realize until I sat down and really unpacked has literally been with me throughout my entire 20s. So it's like my 20s, like the first season dropped when I was 20 and I turned 30 in March and it just ended. So it's like my 20s are ending too, you know? And
Wow.
yeah, so that hit me, you know? And it was a messy season. I definitely think it's the weakest season out of the 5, but the finale did deliver in the second half, like a very satisfying emotional ending for all those characters. And yeah, it feels like a kind of like a loved one has passed, but it was time, you know? So that was a very like beautiful experience. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because I do. I'm an emotional person, you know, and I that's why I love storytelling and like the filmmaking art form is because it has that impact on people, you know. And yeah, so that was great. I really enjoyed that. One thing that I'm looking forward to in the next week is seeing how this Indiegogo campaign goes. I mean, there's a couple things I want to pass to the people who are listening this far into the episode. Um, no matter what happens, I am making this film, but I think having people be a part of it makes it even more special. It's the only time I plan on doing an Indiegogo, and having the opportunity for people to come visit the set and be an extra and be a producer and get a special thanks and go to an early access screening and all of that. It's just this is a one-time thing for me. It was hard for me to ask for help making this movie like that. I don't even like pushing merch. I'm just not that kind of person, you know? Um, so it would mean a lot to me if you went and checked out the campaign, and if you haven't contributed to it yet, uh, take a look at it, see if it's something you can get behind, and whether you can donate $1 or you're like, you know what, I want to be a co-producer, you know, whatever you want to do, your support literally means more than you know. So,
Hell yeah.
yeah, I got a campaign video that goes through all of it. Have you seen my campaign video, Ben? Did I share that with you?
I did.
Or
Yeah.
yeah,
It's great.
what?
Very clear and very like, yeah. I mean, it was nothing was a surprise to me since I've read it and I know the whole
Right,
thing, but it
right.
was just great the way you framed it. Um, yeah,
I
I thought you
tried to
did a
be
great
very
job.
careful about not presenting too many details that would affect your experience when the film is done. And that's hard because like I could talk endlessly about this film, but I have to hold my tongue. It's almost like we got an NDA on it, can't talk too much about it. But I put a lot of heart into it. There's I it's definitely one of those situations where I finished writing it and I was like, "Holy shit, this is way more personal than I thought," you know? Um, but we need about a 90 to $100,000 budget for the film, and whatever we don't raise, I'm going to be financing myself. So any help is appreciated. But you know, I like I said, I'm making this film. Whatever I got to do, whether I got to sell the Mustang, whether I got to push the film's release, 6 months because we didn't raise anything, but because it is an all or nothing campaign. If we do not reach 25,000, then it all gets refunded. So every dollar counts, every share counts. Tell your friends and family. If you have any filmmaker friends like yourself, tell them. Maybe they'll be captivated by what we're doing with it, and that's how a community comes together and makes something happen. So go check out the Around Midnight Indiegogo campaign. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how it continues to work, because these campaigns usually have a big first wave and then they kind of stall, and you have to really keep pushing it and telling people like, no, I'm serious about this. And the last 72 hours are, if you haven't hit your goal yet, that's nerve wracking, because you're kind of in crunch mode, like, yo, if we don't hit this, like, all this was, it kind of feels like, we didn't achieve what we were going for. So I hope we do, and I do have faith that it is very possible that we're going to hit our goal. But there's some stretch goals on there too. So everything tells you exactly where your money's going. I try to be very transparent with it, not trying to hide anything. Um, it's been interesting. I know we need to wrap this up, but it's been interesting to see every once in a while somebody will come in and be like, "Oh, another filmmaker like begging for money." And my response is always, "Dude, I'm putting up 75% of the budget. Like, give me a break here. It's not like I'm saying, hey, give me $100,000." So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I think anybody who knows like what I do, what I'm about, knows that. So those are just, people popping in and hating. But what's one thing you're looking forward to next week, Ben?
Um, hmm. I think just I'm excited to just keep chugging along on this game,
Nice.
and I'm working on like another smaller game for a game jam that's like a David Lynch inspired thing. I'm just like I've been really productive, just doing what I love and being creative, and I'm just building my team and stuff, and I don't know. It's keeping me alive and it's keeping me going. I'm excited to see what, because Hollywood opens back up next week. So I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen with some of the projects I have going, and picking up where we left off on a few of those.
Not
Yeah.
to not to be doom and gloom, but I have a very strong feeling we're gonna have another strike situation on our hands this year.
Hmm.
That's what it's looking like. It looks like SAG's even talking about like protesting the Warner Brothers Netflix merger. That's like part of it too. So it feels like we might have another perfect storm on our hands, which that's frustrating. But I will have my film shot before that happens. We do have like one, I think, SAG actor, and so we will be done. We should be done before that happens. And then if there is a strike, I mean, that's when indie films come out and shine, because they need stuff to fill the gap while things are on hold. So around midnight, just betting it all on red, or whatever the hell the saying is, like we're moving forward with this one, and I'm giving it my best shot. I've heard people come in and they're like, "What are you going to do if it's a flop?" I said, "What do you mean, financial? Cuz this we have no money. Like the financial, if we don't at least make the money back on this, then I did something wrong, in terms of marketing it and getting it out there." But in terms of like a critical flop, I mean, it's my first feature and I have $100,000 to use. So I think that kind of speaks for itself in terms of expectations. But I wrote it to my limitations, and so hopefully, it doesn't feel like those limitations resulted in a different film in any way. I wrote what I wanted to write, and what I wanted people to feel, and what I wanted to say, and how I felt. And yeah, I'll stop talking about it, but go check out Around Midnight on Indiegogo. Our next episode, I think we're going to start talking about pre-production. We're gonna do like a pre-production overview, which is kind of cool because I'm deep into pre-production right now. I have like rehearsals and stuff this next week, so it's getting real, man. We're making a movie, and yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I I think this year is gonna be huge for Ben and and I hope it's huge for you, the watchers or listeners. I hope you achieve your goals this year. It's gonna be interesting to see what we do with this podcast this year, but I'm excited to live out 2026 with all of
Me
you.
too.
And yeah, this is awesome that we're still doing this.
Yeah, man. This is hopefully we can look back on this and be really satisfied. But yeah, Happy New Year. We'll let's talk pre-production next.
Yeah, as always, I'm Derek J. Bowder.
I'm Ben Escobar.
And this is the Fellowship of the Script. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon for the next episode. Until then, keep creating, keep pushing, and keep telling stories that matter.